I know I might get some hate for this, but I have to be honest. I just watched the live-action Snow White remake, and yeah, I cringed through most of it. The dialogue, rough. The tone, super corny, but honestly, a lot of classics are corny. Oklahoma, State Fair, and even the love story between Anakin and Padme makes me cringe sometimes. But let's talk about why this movie is getting so much hate. Is it that bad? And does Rachel Zegler deserve all this backlash? Let's break it down. Number one, the movie itself. So first things first, the whole dwarf actor controversy. A lot of people felt that Disney was being discriminatory by not hiring real dwarf actors. At the same time, Peter Dinklage, yes, Tyrion Lannister from Game of Thrones, was actually against the idea of using dwarf actors for these roles. In an interview, he said,
I was a little taken back by they were very proud to cast a Latino actress as Snow White.
Yeah.
But you're still telling the story of Snow White,
yeah.
Seven Dwarfs.
Sure.
So take a step back and look at what you're doing there. It makes no sense to me. You're progressive in one way, but you're still making that fucking backward story of seven dwarves living in a cave. What the fuck are you doing, man?
After that, Disney decided to replace the traditional dwarves with CGI magical creatures. But here's where it gets messy. Other dwarf actors wanted those roles. So now we're in this weird situation where Disney was trying to be progressive, but in doing so, they may have hurt representation for little people in Hollywood. And yeah, I get it. It would have made sense to hire real actors. But I didn't see it as Disney being discriminatory. It just, to me, felt like that they were trying to replicate the original in their own way. Another big controversy, Rachel Zegler playing Snow White because she's Latina.
From day one, the casting of Rachel Zegler has been fiercely criticized. Some took the criticism in a racial direction, arguing that Snow White should be a Caucasian woman, not a Latina. This was made worse when fans realized that Disney was engaging in colorblind casting.
And honestly, that argument is just ridiculous. People act like race should never change in a remake, but why does it matter? Snow White's name originates from her mom's weirdly specific wish. She wished for a daughter with skin as white as snow, lips as red as blood, and hair as black as ebony. Her mom got exactly that and named her Snow White. So now how does that all help Rachel's case? Well, if you think about it, white as snow is poetic, not literal. It describes skin glowing with health, not solely fair skin tone, and Latina skin tones vary widely. Rachel Zegler's skin fits within the range of white as snow poetically. Original fairy tale doesn't dictate actresses' skin tones, and Brothers Grimm never specified actress requirements, only the character description. Disney adapted other characters with diverse casting successfully, like Mulan, Aladdin, Moana, all had diverse leads without backlash on character description. Skin tone doesn't alter Snow White's character or story. Rachel plays the same kind, gentle princess regardless of skin tone. People seem to freak out whenever a character traditionally portrayed as white is played by someone of a different ethnicity, like Hailey Bailey as the Little Mermaid or Zendaya as MJ in Spider-Man. But let me ask you something. Does anyone care when white actors play traditionally non-white characters? Like Jake Gyllenhaal as Prince of Persia, Tilda Swinton as the Ancient One, Scarlett Johansson in Ghost in the Shell. And honestly, who cares? Acting is about bringing a character to life, not about skin color. As a Christian, I believe judging people for their race is just as wrong as judging them for a disability, which, by the way, I have. Also, aren't there black people with the last name White? Number 2, is the original Snow White outdated? Now, Rachel called the 1937 classic outdated, and people lost their minds over it.
I mean, you know, the original cartoon came out in 1937, and very evidently so.
But, is she wrong? Technology has evolved so much since then. Even my favorite franchise, Star Wars, has effects that feel outdated today. But that doesn't make them bad. Disney literally remasters old movies to update them for modern audiences. So why are people mad that Rachel pointed out what Disney is already doing? Then there's the Prince Charming debate. Now, this is where Rachel really got herself into trouble. She called the 1937 Snow White movie outdated and said Prince Charming was basically a stalker.
There is a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her. Weird.
I mean, is she wrong though? Well, let's think about it. Prince Charming's scenes outside Snow White's window. Stalking. He sneaks up behind her at the well. Invasion of privacy. He kisses her while she's asleep. No consent. People used to call it romance. Now we're like, red flags everywhere. And actually, Disney themselves addressed this issue in Frozen. Anna meets Hans and falls deeply in love, wanting to marry him day one. Elsa wisely intervenes, cautioning Anna against rushing into marriage with someone she barely knows, essentially calling out toxic fairy tale tropes. Kristoff even says, some people are worth melting for, but also he waits for Anna to feel the same, respects her boundaries, supports her sisterly love. A healthier Disney prince model contrasting sharply with Snow White's. In the remake, they completely changed Snow White's love story. Rachel Zegler said they toned down his creepiness in the new movie. And at the beginning, Snow White rescued Jonathan, the character who replaces Prince Charming. Later, he took an arrow for her. Mutual life-saving deeds. They bonded over shared adventures and conversations, actual dialogue and connection. This storyline completely flips the creepy script of the original. Consent established, mutual respect built, love developed naturally. Rachel said this change was intentional to make their love story healthier. Now let's talk about the heroism in Snow White. And let's be real, a lot of classic heroines were pretty helpless and honestly kind of annoying. You take olive oil and Popeye screeching, "Ooh, Popeye!" every 5 seconds while doing absolutely nothing to help herself.
Oh, Popeye! Oh, Popeye!
Or Willie Scott from Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom literally spends the entire movie screaming at bugs, bats, and anything that moves. Or Princess Buttercup in The Princess Bride, just standing there while Wesley fights a giant ROUS. Like, girl, pick up a stick, help him out. I get it. Different times, different storytelling. But let's not pretend like classic heroines were all strong, independent women. And that's why I don't get why people are so mad about this remake giving Snow White more agency. Like, this is Disney fixing a character trait we've criticized in other movies. It's not like that they turned her into Rambo. And I'm just saying, if people are mad that Snow White actually does things in the remake instead of just waiting around for a prince, then maybe our nostalgia is blinding us a little. So yeah, the remake definitely has issues, but giving Snow White a little more agency, that's not one of them. Now, let's talk about the real reason why some people hate Rachel Zegler. It's not just the movie, it's her opinions. She blasted Donald Trump on Instagram after his election win. She said she was speechless and heartbroken, fearing another 4 years of his presidency would lead to a world she doesn't want her daughter to live in. Her exact words were, "May Trump supporters and Trump voters and Trump himself never know peace." She also urged followers to ditch Elon Musk's social media platform since he supported Trump. This sparked backlash, with some calling for her removal from Disney's Snow White remake. But let's be real, she's not the first celebrity to say something controversial. The internet loves to twist things and blow them out of proportion. And honestly, I get why she's frustrated. Yes, Rachel's words were harsh, but nobody's perfect. However, it's my understanding that Donald Trump's policies and comments have rolled back women's rights, especially reproductive rights, appointed judges, opposed abortion rights, cut funding for family planning programs, made strongly prejudiced comments against women, objectified women, and put women out of jobs, particularly in low-income sectors relying on programs like Medicaid. If I were in her position, I'd be angry too. Then there's that clip where Rachel says, "I'm a narcissist," and laughs.
I'm a narcissist.
I mean, was she joking? Was she serious? I don't know. But I do know that people love to take things out of context. And honestly, there's times when people say mean things against me or call me mean things, and I just laugh and say, yep, you're right. Yep, I'm an asshole. But, I don't say that because I'm agreeing with them or that they're right. I'm just saying that because I don't care what they think of me. And I'm not going to let their opinions define me. She also commented on standing in a dress for 18 hours and thinking she should be paid more.
I say, if I'm going to stand there 18 hours in a dress of an iconic Disney princess, I deserve to be paid for every hour that it is streamed online.
And yeah, wearing a big costume for long hours is probably exhausting, but at the same time, shouldn't she be grateful for just playing the role? It's one of those things where I can see both sides. So, at the end of the day, I know how ugly the internet can be. I've experienced what it's like to have people twist my words, spread rumors, and turn against me. So, do I think Snow White is a great movie? No. Do I think Rachel Zegler deserves this much hate? Also no. But hey, those are just my thoughts. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. Just keep it civil.